Now you've clicked on this video for one thing and for one thing only. Pure awesome gameplay. God damn it! Now you're probably wondering, Xrathis, what are your top 3 ranged classes in WoW for PvP right now? Well, in this video I'm going to tell you exactly that. I'm going to tell you what classes I think are really good in PvP. Range, that is, not melee. That would be a separate video, but range classes right now. So let's jump straight into the video. So the first range class I'm going to be talking to you guys about is Mage. Mage brings a lot of utility to WoW in general. They have a lot of damage, and by far they are one of the best range classes in PvP right now. They work really nice into Rogue Mage Druid and Rogue Mage Paladin. They can also work with Shamans, but people generally don't run with that, but hey, it's still good with those purges from the Shamans. But yeah, Mage is one of those classes that work really nicely with a variety of compositions. They're a well-rounded class and they have a lot to work with. They have Ice Block, Polymorph for CC, they have Spell Steal, so you can get those hot stuff from the Druid or any other important buffs. They can work with a Priest, so the Priest can also dispel. And if you have a Shaman, you have infinite purges. It's insane. They are really nice. Fire's really good, especially in 2s and 3s with Rogue. Frost is really good for those slows, and then Arcane Mage is an underdog class, but I find that they are absolutely awesome. Their damage is really insane, and they have a lot of blinks, which is really nice. But yeah, Frost Mages, Fire Mages, Arcane Mages, really good right now. I'd say they're probably the top range spec at the moment, just for pure damage and CC control. Like, it's really nice. They have Dispels, they have Purges, they have Polymorphs, Ring of Frost. They just have everything. Infinite slows, man. Like, it's really ridiculous. They are really nice. Especially with the talents that I go as well. Like, I've gone full slow build, especially as Fire. Like, it's absolutely awesome. I'd say that hands down, they are one of the best range classes to work with in general this patch. Like, it's really nice, and they have a lot of traits that they can work with, which is really good. Like, Frigid Grasp is absolutely awesome for that, beneficial in burst damage. Really nice, especially with overwhelming power. And then you also have, like, Whiteout, which can be considered decent, but not compared to, you know, Frigid Grasp. Flash Freeze, absolutely awesome. Your Icicles have a 5% chance to gain Fingers of Frost effect. If you don't know what Fingers of Frost is, I'll pull it up right now for you guys. Let me show you. Fingers of Frost. Frostbolt has an 18% chance, and Frozen Orb damage has a 10% chance, who basically gives you Fingers of Frost. Fingers of Frost causes your next Ice Lance to deal damage as if the target were frozen. So basically, your Icicles do a lot more damage, which is so good. But yeah, I love Mages. Mages are absolutely awesome. I'd say that they're probably the top spec in WoW at the moment for range, just because they do a, like, insane amount of damage. Like, look, I'm not even good geared, man. I'm 413, which is considered average, and I just pump damage. It's ridiculous, and I haven't even bursted yet. They are really nice. I would consider definitely playing a Mage, because they are always top tier. If you look on the ladder, probably the first range you would see is a Mage. Like, along with Fire, you can spam Greater Pyroblast, which literally chunks their health down by 35%. Long cast time, but you can cast it while like 20 yards or something, so you can get 2 out before it even hits the target. Ridiculous. You've got that Smoke Bomb from the Rogue to work with in this composition. You have the Polymorphs from the Mage. You have literally the Ice Nova twice if you play Frost. You have the Frozen Orb. You have the Blizzard. Like, it's just ridiculous, dude. I would say if you want to roll a specific class at the moment for range and want to know like what you should roll, then I would probably roll Mage, just because they do a lot of damage and they are really nice in this patch. Like, there's nothing I can really say other than play Mage. Mage is awesome. But yeah, let's jump into the next character. If you haven't guessed it already, guys, the next class I'm going to be talking to you guys about is Warlock. Warlock is one of those classes that I absolutely love. I've been playing Warlock since the start of TBC, so if you don't know what that is, it's the Burning Crusade. I've been playing WoW since then, and I've always mained a Warlock. This is, in fact, my first ever character, and I've never deleted them, and I've always stuck to my roots and played Warlock. Warlock is a class that is demonic. They have a lot of pets to work with, especially if you play Demonology. And the 3 main specs that you can go in this game are Destruction, Demonology, and Affliction. Destruction's the main damage dealer just because of Chaos Bolt and how the essences work. And then I'd say probably close second is Demonology. Demonology is okay with their pets, but their damage is kind of poor and the survivability is bad just because you don't have demon armor, which I'll talk about in a second. And then Affliction is the worst spec out of the 3, but it's my favourite. It's pure dot damage, but the damage is just not there at the moment. It's kind of bad, but I'd say that Affliction is probably my favourite. My talents, I just run the standard build, you know, Flashover, Reverse Entropy, Demon Skin, Cataclysm, Mortar Coil for that CC breaker and, you know, for the healing, Grimoire Supremacy and Dark Soul. And then what I was talking about with Demon Armor, it protects the caster, increasing maximum health by 10% and increases armor by 150. So it's really, really nice. I like playing that a lot. So if I just pull it on for you guys here, my HP is 339. Boom, 373k HP. And imagine if you had a priest as well, that's going to increase it by a ton. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the compositions which Warlock work best as is definitely what I like playing. Warlock, Windwalker Monk, Paladin or Druid, depending on what you really want to go. Then Warlock, Mage, Druid, Warlock, Warrior, Shaman or Druid, and then you can also make it work into like Shadowcleave and stuff like that. So it's really, really nice, but my favourite's probably playing with a Elemental Shaman or Windwalker Monk. Sorry if there's any background noise, I do apologise. But yeah, Warlock is really, really decent. They have a lot of CC, they have Fear, they have, you know, Succubus Charm, they have the Infernal Stun, they have Mortal Coil, and they can double Mortal Coil onto 2 targets, they have Reflect. Their Chaos Bolt does a lot of damage, you can literally chunk people down, so if you play with a Fire Mage and they get a Greater Pyro off, the enemy's basically dead. Like, Warlock is definitely my favourite class to play, and it's ridiculous. Like, I have 2 Infernals out at the moment, watch this Chaos Bolt, you ready? Boom, 116k. And that's without burst as well, like, it's ridiculous. 176k. Like, what is this damage? It's really insane. I'd say if you're trying to pick up a class, Destruction Warlock, or Warlocks in general, is definitely a good pick. Especially for PvP and PvE, but this is purely PvP. They have a lot of CC to work with and a lot of defensive like abilities. They have their Demonic Gateway, which allows you to teleport across the map. They also have their Mortar Coil, which you can put on 2 targets if you play Destruction, which CCs 2 targets and also heals you. You also have your Rain of Fire, which can keep Stealthies in combat. You also have your Inferno, your Pet Charms, different choice of pets, so they have different abilities. You also have your Devour Magic, which acts like a purge, so if the enemy has a really good ability up which you want to take away from them, like Freedom, you can purge that off instantly, which is nice, or like the stamina buffs from Priest or the Mage buffs. Like, it's really, really nice. I'd say if you want to roll a Warlock, probably the best time to do it is now. Destruction's in a really good place, especially with their traits. If you play Crashing Chaos and probably Flashpoint, then your Chaos Bolts are going to hit for a lot. Like, if you have at least 1 Flashpoint and then the rest, like Crashing Chaos and Chaotic Inferno, or maybe like 1 Bursting Flare just to increase your Conflagrate and your Mastery, like, your damage is going to be ridiculous, man. I'm telling you, you're going to hit like 200k Chaos Bolts and it's going to be a really nice time for you. The reason why I don't like playing Deathstroke is just because everybody plays it at the moment if they're a Warlock, and I don't like feeding into that hype. But at the end of the day, I'd say if you want to get to the top rating, then Warlock, you could easily get it, especially if you play Destruction. But yeah, on to the next class, guys. So the third and final class I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is, in fact, Elemental Shaman. Elemental Shamans are really, really nice to have on your team. They have a wide range of off heals and offensive abilities. They have Purge. Purge is one of their main abilities. What it allows you to do is steal a beneficial effect from the target so they no longer have it. So say if a enemy was on the team and say they were a priest, right? Say a priest was on the enemy team and they put a stamina buff on the target. What I can do then is run in and click Purge. If that is the only beneficial effect on the target, it will allow me to steal it, and that means they no longer have that buff. So the priest on the enemy team would have to continuously spam their buff so they can get the stamina buff, but I can just keep purging it at a cost of mana. You don't really need a mana that much as a Elemental Shaman, because you work off Maelstrom. But it's really nice, especially when queuing into a druid, because if a druid tries to heal their team, what you can do is basically just spam purge until all of their healing's gone on the target, and then that will force the druid on the enemy team to spend even more mana healing their team. And eventually you will win in mana if you can stop drinks. So it's really nice. They also have a ton of stuns, so say this is an enemy healer and you want to put them into stun, what you can do is use your lightning lasso and get out of line of sight. So that means if you're out of line of sight from the enemy team, they cannot kick you on the lightning lasso, and this will allow you to put them into a stun and set up your burst. So if you put them into a stun and you're with a mage or something, they can put them into full polymorph, and then that's where you pop your big damage with your Stormkeeper, and then that's where you go absolutely ham on the target and you do a lot of damage. Like, it's really nice. Elemental Shamans have a lot of procs to work with, especially if you play Ignis Potential and your Earth Shock build, then you get a ton of procs from your Lava Burst and your Earth Shock. But yeah, the three specializations you can play as a Shaman is in fact Restoration, Enhancement and Elemental. But Elemental is the only ranged DPS specialization as a Shaman, so that's the only one I'll be talking about. Talents are, this is what I usually play. Really nice, especially playing with Grounding Totem and Spirit Wolf. So if the enemy tries to go on you, and say you're up against Rogue Mage Druid and they have a ton of damage, right? What you can do is play this current build and just sit in Ghost Wolf. With this build I'm playing, you get reduction in damage by a ton. So what you do is, with the Spirit Wolf, you get reduction by 20% in damage, and then increases your movement speed by 40%, along with a 40% less hinder to movement aspects. So really nice. I consider playing Shaman if you want that pure damage and off healing. I'd say that is probably one of the best range classes at the moment in this current meta. Like I said earlier, with the Lava Shock build and Natural Harmony, or with your Igneous Potential, your damage is increased by a lot. If you get your Flame Shock onto each target, see at the bottom I've already got a proc for my Lava Burst. It's really nice. This is what Shamans work off, and they do a lot of damage. See, another one. Like, it's insane. And yeah, I think Shamans are probably one of the best at the moment, just because they have like great utility. Grounding Totem's a really good one. So say this is a Warlock and he's casting Fear onto our healer here. So this is our healer, this is the Warlock. Say he's about to let the Fear go. What I can do is hit my Grounding Totem and the Fear will go to the totem instead of our healer. So it works really nice. So for that 3-second duration, all spells are directed to the totem instead of our team. So it's really nice. Shamans also have, you know, Cleanse Spirit, which gets rid of curse effects. So if you're against like an Affliction Warlock, see you later, dots. Also you have Purge, like I said earlier, get rid of all the beneficial buffs. Like, they have a ton of damage to work with and a lot of survivability. They also have their Cap Stun, which is really good. You can put them into full stun. You have your Lightning Lasso, which is another stun. Like, the only thing I can say about Shamans is that they are really nice at the moment. If you want a class which does a lot of healing, a lot of damage, and has a lot of utility, Shaman's definitely the one to play. Like, Mages, as I talked to you guys about before, are really nice. Warlocks are nice, but Shamans are very good. And they're also fun. They have a knockback, they have a slow, they have totems which do a lot of damage, they have a lot of elementals, they have great off healing, they have tremor which allows you to get out of slows, they have Ghost Wolf which gives you movement speed and less damage reduction, they have Grounding Totem, they have Purge, they have Cleanse Spirit, they have Bloodlust, they have Water Walking, they have it all, man. Like, if you want to get into a ranged class, Shaman's the 100% the way to go. But yeah, guys, let's go straight to the outro. So this was purely my opinion on the top 3 classes in PvP right now for this current meta. I think that Mages are definitely probably one of the best classes to pick up for ranged at the moment, because they work really nice with certain compositions. Then you have Warlock, which, you know, is really decent, however probably not better than a Mage. And then you have Elemental Shaman, which is really nice too. Like, these 3 classes I think are probably the best range specializations in WoW at the moment to pick up, Druid, I didn't mention them just because nobody really plays them anymore, but I'd say that they are still good, so if there was an honourable mention, I would say Balanced Druid are kind of good too, but the top 3 in my opinion are definitely Mages, Warlocks, and Shamans. I don't know if I talked about the compositions Shamans can run, but there's a variety of compositions that they work well with, like Warlock and with Mages, and you know, anything that has a lot of CC, Shamans can work well with. So if you wanted to know that, then sorry that I didn't include it in there. But yeah, I'd say that this is my top 3 specializations or classes in WoW at the moment. They are definitely really, really nice, and in my opinion, they do a lot of damage and have a lot of mobility, so that's why I put them in the top 3. So yeah guys, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you agreed with me, comment down below. If you have any other suggestions of what classes are good too, comment them down below so everybody can see. And yeah guys, I've been Xrathis. Please make sure to support the channel. It really does help. And yeah guys, I shall catch you in the next episode. Hope you guys thought that this was a good video, and hopefully you agreed with me with my top 3 specializations and classes in WoW. Alright guys, I've been Xrathis. Catch you in the next one. So, peace!
You must return to the wild.